And whenever Chase comes into the car.
You had one job, Christopher, to keep your mouth shut. And what did you do? You kept talking. All right, seriously, though, that was really funny. Christopher Bell basically confirms who's going to be in the 19 car next year. I think Joe Gibbs might be wearing this hat right now. But, yes, in his weekend media availability, Christopher Bell was asked about team leadership and, who's going to lead the team now, in a sense. Obviously, Denny Hamlin, a veteran, but Christopher Bell's been there a few years, and even young Ty Gibbs is doing pretty well in the Cup Series. So who's going to be leading these team meetings, in a sense, from a driver's standpoint? Well, this is the moment that Christopher Bell decided to slip up on top of some other stuff in his full reaction to his slip up.
I don't think that there really is a leadership role in that aspect. And whenever Chase comes into the car, whenever I don't even know what to say. Whenever we have a new driver into the 19 car, whoever that is.
But yes, Chase Briscoe to the JGR 19, or the fourth JGR car if they opt to rebrand it, renumber it, whatever they may do. It's been rumored that Chase Briscoe reported on that Chase Briscoe has been the top candidate for that car ever since Martin Truex Jr. announced his retirement. He was even on the list before that when there was speculation that Truex was leaning towards retirement. Chase Briscoe, Noah Gragson were some of the outsiders, some of the non-Toyota guys who were mentioned in that topic of conversation. And then, as I said, once we got to the official retirement, Truex actually deciding to step away, that's when it started to come together that Chase Briscoe was the front runner for the fourth JGR car. And now it's basically confirmed. It's not official yet. Things can go wrong. I guess, sponsorship deal could fall through. Someone could buy the fourth JGR charter for $10 billion. I think JGR would sell it if that were the number that they were given, but they're not going to sell it other than if it's like multi-billions. As I said, it has to be an absurd reason. Like, as of now, from the way everyone's talking, something crazy would have to happen for Briscoe not to end up in the 19. But I will say, Kyle Larson had probably the funniest response to this. Everyone's saying, ha, 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 so funny, ha, ha, ha. He messed up, ha, ha, ha. He leaked the news. What a dummy. Oh, Christopher, you're so silly. But then Kyle Larson said this. Man, totally blindsided by this news. Wishing Chase Elliott the best on his new adventure at Joe Gibbs Racing. Have enjoyed you as a teammate. Laughing emoji. Good luck. Hashtag D19. I think Chase Elliott's hashtag is DI9. So, you turn the I into a 1 because he's going to be in the 19 car. It's a very funny take on the comments from Christopher Bell because he never said Chase Briscoe. He said Chase in the car. So I thought that was really funny. But yes, Martin Truex Jr. retiring, Chase Briscoe expected to be the replacement. We'll talk about it more once that is official. But once again, it's still highly expected for that to happen. And now Chase Briscoe's future teammate basically just confirmed it. So if you had any doubts to this news, Christopher Bell, I'd say, is a pretty good source for that information. Now, on to some actual, news. I guess technically that was news because Christopher Bell did just say this a couple of hours ago. But this new report came out about Josh Berry's future. Josh Berry has talked about his future Cup Series career. He's become more confident as the weeks have gone on. Of course, Stewart Haas Racing shutting down. That's Chase Briscoe. He was one of their drivers. Well, technically still is for a few more months, but you get the point. And Josh Berry has been a topic of conversation. It's expected that Briscoe is going to stay in the Cup Series, Gragson, but Berry has the talent, but there's been questions of the funding. What does he bring up to the table and that kind of stuff? And that has been some sort of, hindrance in terms of him getting a Cup ride. I think he's ready for the Cup Series. Well, he's in the Cup Series already, but I think that he is well capable to be in the Cup Series, to stay in the Cup Series and be competitive. Well, this new report came out from Adam Stern. It says, With the Fox broadcasts done for the season, Kevin Harvick is now getting straight to work with his other business interests, starting with finding new homes for several of his drivers who are signed with Stewart-Haas Racing, which is closing down after this year. For example, one of KHI, or Kevin Harvick Incorporated, clients is Stewart-Haas Racing driver Josh Berry, who has had discussions to join Wood Brothers Racing next year, sources say. And then it lists a couple other of KHI's drivers, Shane Van Gisbergen, Ryan Preece, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Of course, we know Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he's going to be staying with JTG Doherty on a multi-year deal. There's no questions there. Ryan Preece is more up in the air. Where could he end up? Obviously, Gene Haas keeping that Xfinity Series team alive, keeping the Cup Series team alive. Maybe he could end up there. I don't think it'll be on the Cup level, but I think the Xfinity level is a realistic possibility. We're actually going to talk about them here in a minute. But then there's Shane Van Gisbergen. The current thinking is that he's going to end up in the Cup Series at Trackhouse. But as for Josh Berry, as I said, a lot of question marks about his future. There's been rumors about him potentially going to Front Row Motorsports now that they have expanded. And now there's this. Josh Berry to the Wood Brothers, and this is what I talked about yesterday, 2 days ago, whenever I talked about it. When one domino falls, another 2 to 3 stand up, because all of a sudden, Martin Truex Jr. retires. That opens up the 19 seat, and there's a lot of free agents right now with Stewart-Haas Racing being shut down. And because of all these free agents, well, now you have an extra seat to fill, so that could put someone who is tied to one team and now they're going to another. And that's essentially what happened. Chase Briscoe, when Stewart-Haas Racing was announced as shutting down, this was before, of course, Martin Truex Jr. decided to retire. Chase Briscoe was the favorite to go to the Wood Brothers, stay with Ford. Chase Briscoe, of course, very loyal to Ford. Ford very loyal, and they really love Chase Briscoe. But then the JGR seat opened up, and now Chase Briscoe is going to JGR. He's going to Joe Gibbs Racing. And so all of a sudden, that 21 seat is available. As I said, when one falls, another, or 1 or 2, 3, however many stand up. And now it looks like Josh Berry has a possibility to go to the Wood Brothers. Of course, Rodney Childers, there's a lot of questions about him as well. Rodney Childers loves Josh Berry. He wants to continue to work with Josh Berry. Those two seem to work really well together. They like each other. Rodney Childers has stated multiple times he will not let Josh Berry fail in NASCAR in the Cup Series. So Rodney Childers will do whatever it takes. That Ford team seems to be really connected together. They get together well. Everything going well. I know they're not in the greatest point situation. They haven't won a race yet. But there's been flashes of that potential, especially on the short tracks, which is what Josh Berry is known for. Obviously, the Wood Brothers have struggled the past couple of years. Harrison Burton has been there 3 years. He has not really done well, and it's highly expected that he's not going to return. It's all but confirmed at this point, kind of like the same thing with Briscoe and Joe Gibbs Racing. And so it's not going to be a shock when that seat opens up. But Josh Berry, I think, is a great candidate. If Ford is very happy with his progress, very happy with how he has done so far, and they want to keep him in their camp, that's a great place to put him. Obviously, Front Row has 2 seats open right now with McDowell leaving, and then the expansion third team. There's a lot of possibilities of what you could do with the Josh Berry. If Cole Custer goes to the Haas car, if Haas stays with Ford, as I said, we'll talk about that here in a minute. But you now have the possibility of Front Row. And there's been rumors, reports, whatever you want to call them, about Noah Gragson potentially going to a third RCR car. He's also been linked to Front Row. I mean, there's so much going on. You almost have to wait for it to be confirmed. But this is a new one in that Josh Berry is being connected to that number 21 car. I think him and Rodney Childers, they would have a fantastic chance of giving the Wood Brothers their 100th win. They've been sitting on 99 for 7 years now since Ryan Blaney won at Pocono. And I'm trying to think, with Matt DiBenedetto, they got close a couple of times at Talladega. Other than that, Harrison Burton hasn't come close. Paul Menard never really came close. It's been tough for him to get in terms of that competitive, that winning way. And they have that alliance with Team Penske. I know the numbers won't show that they are good, but I think they're better than what they are right now. What shows, and I think Josh Berry and Rodney Childers, that could be a huge step forward for them. That would be an absolute package deal they have to take if you're the Wood brothers, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, that seems to be in the works. Maybe a possibility for Josh Berry. I keep on saying that I'm going to talk about Stewart-Haas Racing. Well, not anymore Stewart-Haas Racing, starting in December, or I guess January 2025. But yesterday, 2 days ago, whenever it was announced that Gene Haas would stay in NASCAR with the Haas Factory Team. They'd have one Cup Series chartered, and they'd continue to run the 2-car Xfinity operation. Well, Bob Pockris talked to Joe Custer, and he said that Joe Custer told him the plan is to remain with Ford. They currently build the Xfinity Series cars for Ford teams. They are open to an alliance in Cup, but don't have one yet. And Haas is to be the primary sponsor for the 1 Cup car. They're looking for sponsors for the 2 Xfinity Series cars. Now, yesterday when Gene Haas announced that they would continue to be in the Cup Series, to continue to be in NASCAR, he wanted it to be a place for his Haas Automation, his HaasTooling.com, for those businesses, for those brands to grow and to continue to be recognized. Obviously, many people in the motorsports world have seen them, whether you're an F1 fan or a NASCAR fan. That logo is everywhere. But it looks like he's going to stay in the Cup Series in terms of sponsoring a car. So if you're a driver looking for that seat, sponsorship does not seem to be an issue. But once again, my guess is still Cole Custer, obviously with his dad being there, but also he's a capable driver. He's won a Cup Series race. Remember, he won the last race at Kentucky. And then also, he's won an Xfinity Series championship. I think he's leading the Xfinity Series points right now. If not, he's top 3. And also, he knows the people there. Obviously, I said his dad is the president of the team. He knows Gene Haas. He knows everyone that works there. He's familiar with that territory. It would make sense. He's a good driver. They've already got the funding lined up. He knows the people. I don't see why you don't put Cole Custer in that car. As for the Xfinity Series, though, it might take some funding to get into that car. You know, if Riley Herbst doesn't get a Cup Series seat, he's got the Monster Energy backing. That could be potentially huge if he wants to continue at Stewart-Haas, well, about to be Haas Factory Team. I'm going to make that mistake so many times. Please forgive me in advance. Ryan Preece has United Rentals, and, you know, potentially Haas could sponsor some other races as well, as he's done in the Cup Series this year. Or if you want to go for an outsider, you know, Harrison Burton, I don't really see a path right now for him to stay in Cup next year. Obviously, beyond that is up in the air. You never know. But if he wanted to go back to Xfinity, he could go to Haas Factory Team. He's got sponsorship from Dex Imaging. He had it throughout his Xfinity Series career when he was at Joe Gibbs Racing. So a lot of possibilities on that front, but it looks like they're going to at least try to stay with Ford, try to strike up some deal. No alliance yet, but the possibility's still there. They're willing to talk to people. And then obviously just trying to figure out who those drivers are, the sponsorship for the Xfinity team. So I know that was a lot of information to consume, from Christopher Bell accidentally confirming that Chase Briscoe is going to be his teammate next year, to Josh Berry potentially being at the Wood Brothers in 2025. And then, of course, Haas Factory Team, who I'm going to accidentally call Stewart-Haas Racing quite a bit. So you gotta give me some patience. It's only been quite literally 1 day. You got to give me some time, but thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Any other news that comes out, I will do my best to let you know. We are supposed to have races in New Hampshire this weekend, but the weather's not looking too hot. In fact, Xfinity practice has already been canceled. But anyways, hopefully those races go on. They go well. We got the Spanish Grand Prix on Sunday morning, and I will keep you updated on all those races. So thank you again for watching this video. I will see you guys in the next one.